Greetings to all the weary souls seeking divine peace and deep comfort in this heavy world today. Do you ever feel like every door you bravely knock on is violently slammed shut today? You might truly believe that heaven has forgotten your name and ignored your silent, sad tears. But I profoundly tell you today that this painful rejection is God's ultimate protection. Step inside this ancient spiritual journey to discover why your deep heartbreak leads to greatness. Ancient scriptures reveal a traveler standing alone in a dark and heavy stone corridor. Before his tired eyes, massive wooden doors are violently slammed shut without any mercy. He carries an invisible burden, his shoulders weighed down by endless earthly struggles. Every single knock is met with a cold silence that echoes deeply through the ancient halls. He constantly wonders if his genuine efforts will ever be recognized by the cruel world. The heavy wooden doors represent the countless worldly opportunities that have been denied. His wounded hands reach out desperately, hoping to find a single welcoming place to rest. But the heavy iron hinges scream as another massive door slams shut right in his tired face. The traveler feels an overwhelming sense of inadequacy crushing his fragile, weary heart. He wrongly believes that he is simply not good enough to receive any worldly blessings. Each harsh rejection feels like a sharp blade cutting deeply into his remaining earthly hope. The ancient stone walls seem to close in on him, amplifying his silent and painful cries. He questions his own worth, completely forgetting the divine purpose originally given to him. The heavy dust of disappointment covers his worn cloak, reflecting his inner devastation. He stares at the closed doors, wishing he could break through the barriers with his bare hands. But human strength is completely useless when facing the ultimate divine will of the heavens. He takes another painful step forward, dragging his exhausted feet across the cold stone floor. The oppressive darkness of the corridor mirrors the terrible storm raging inside his mind. He feels entirely abandoned by the universe, left alone to wander in this endless shadow. Have you ever felt this deep isolation when the world completely turned its back on you? The sacred texts describe how rejection slowly consumes the fragile human spirit from inside. The weary traveler collapses on the freezing stone floor, consumed by overwhelming grief. He wraps his torn cloak tightly around his shaking body, seeking comfort in the empty void. The paralyzing fear of failure prevents him from ever knocking on another wooden door. He begins to isolate himself, building invisible walls to protect his heavily wounded heart. The sleepless nights are filled with terrible anxiety and endless questions about his destiny. He completely surrenders to the painful illusion that he is destined for absolute failure. The terrible loneliness surrounds him, convincing his mind that nobody cares about his pain. He remembers every single harsh word spoken to him, replaying them in his fragile mind. His divine light dims as he slowly accepts the heavy darkness as his permanent worldly home. The physical exhaustion is nothing compared to the terrible spiritual emptiness he feels. He looks at his scarred hands, believing they are completely incapable of creating any good. The ancient basalt pillars stand like silent witnesses to his profound emotional collapse. He feels like a forgotten prisoner, trapped in a magnificent but incredibly lonely fortress. The heavy atmosphere suffocates his prayers, making him feel entirely disconnected from God. He cries out into the darkness, begging for a single sign that his suffering has a meaning. But the corridor remains absolutely silent, amplifying his terrible feeling of abandonment. He is dangerously close to giving up entirely on his beautiful divine spiritual journey. The overwhelming weight of the world threatens to crush his beautiful and precious soul. If God truly loves you, why does he allow such heartbreaking pain to break your fragile soul? According to divine wisdom, human rejection is merely the ultimate protection of God. A brilliant golden light suddenly descends from the heavens, breaking the heavy darkness. The majestic voice of the Creator echoes warmly through the ancient and silent stone halls. He speaks directly to the broken traveler, offering profound comfort and divine revelation. Do not weep over closed doors, my beloved child, for they were shut by my own heavy hand. The divine tactical diorama reveals the terrifying truth, hiding perfectly behind the doors. Behind the first door lies a terrible dark abyss that would have completely swallowed you. Behind the second door, malicious shadow wolves waited patiently to destroy your pure heart. The worldly opportunities you desperately wanted were actually dangerous traps in disguise. The Lord actively protected you from toxic environments that would corrupt your gentle soul. He did not take away your precious blessings. He shielded you from unseen and deadly storms. The giant glowing hand of God is seen actively pushing the heavy wooden doors firmly shut. Every single rejection was a divine intervention, saving you from a much greater worldly pain. The traveler watches in absolute awe as the terrifying dangers are finally revealed to him. The tears of sorrow are instantly transformed into beautiful tears of overwhelming gratitude. He finally understands that the prolonged silence was actually a powerful shield of deep love. The Lord was carefully redirecting his footsteps away from the hidden valleys of destruction. The pain of rejection is temporary, but the damage of a wrong path is truly permanent. The heavenly light continues to warm his freezing body, healing his heavily wounded spirit. He realizes that he was never truly alone. The master builder was always watching closely. The majestic voice commands the weary traveler to stand up and lift his heavy head high.
The gate of light is open.
At the very end of the ancient corridor, a magnificent gate of light slowly begins to open. The brilliant golden rays sweep across the stone floor, completely washing away the shadows. This beautiful new doorway leads to a divine destiny far greater than he ever imagined. The Lord has prepared a special place where your unique talents will be truly celebrated. Your pure and unconditional love will finally be returned in the most spectacular divine way. The traveler leaves his torn and heavy cloak behind, stepping fully into the glorious light. His scarred hands are miraculously healed, glowing with the beautiful energy of the heavens. The heavy burden of worldly expectations is completely lifted from his incredibly tired shoulders. He walks confidently toward the glorious gate, surrounded by magnificent celestial melodies. The previous rejections were merely essential stepping stones, leading to this glorious peak. God breaks you down perfectly, only to rebuild you into a much stronger and wiser warrior. The spiritual diorama shows the beautifully constructed path, leading directly to eternal joy. Every closed door was absolutely necessary to guide you toward this incredible holy blessing. The traveler smiles with profound peace, embracing the beautiful divine plan for his real life. The heavenly chorus sings of victory as he crosses the magnificent threshold of pure light. Trust in the unseen protection, for the Creator's grand design is always perfectly flawless. The glorious light engulfs the screen, leaving a beautiful feeling of absolute peace and hope. Never doubt your true worth, because you are heavily guarded by the Almighty King of Kings. Your greatest blessing is waiting patiently for you, right behind the specifically chosen door. Walk entirely in faith, knowing that every single rejection is a powerful divine redirection. The faithful traveler steps into the golden embrace, fully restored by the grace of God. Looking back at your life, was that closed door a punishment or a divine shield saving you? Share your personal story below and tell us how God protected you from the angry storm. If this message brought you peace today, please like, share, and subscribe for daily blessings.